All right, hey guys, it's Boki from Gigi's Fabric Shop and home of Juki Junkies, and I'm here with the TL-2010Q to do a thorough video on the importance of threading this machine. Here I have some Glide 40 on the machine. David wants to highlight our beautiful little business card in here that has some awesome information for you. We are Gigi's Fabric Shop, also home of Juki Junkies. We have an awesome support group on Facebook as well as a YouTube channel, so definitely check out all the resources there for you. We have tons, all right? So here I am with the 2010. I have a small spool of Glide 40 weight polyester thread. This is an awesome all-purpose thread that we offer the entire collection on jukijunkies.com, so you guys can check that out. First step into threading our machine is going to make sure that we take this thread guide and raise it up. All right, we're gonna put our spool down just like so. And step number one is bringing it from the back to the front, just like that. That is step numero uno, okay? Step number two, in my opinion, is going to be making sure that we put this presser foot down. When you put the presser foot down, physically down, out of the way, this is up, you lower that guide down. When it's nice and down, touching the needle plate, it is out of the way, and it's locking all your tension gears to make sure everything is nice and tight, all right? Next, I'm gonna do needle down, needle up. What that does is ensure that the needle is in the highest position. The needle threader is the most complained about part on this machine, just because it has to be precise and you have to make sure you're doing it correctly. So if you are working with a 40 weight thread, you want to make sure you're working with an appropriate sized needle. That way it's able to go through the eye of the needle. Make sure you read in your manuals about that, because if the eye is too small, the needle threader will not be able to thread it. Needle down, needle up is the most important part, because if it's not in the right position, you're eyeballing it, that little pin cannot go through the eye of the needle. So it can't do that. So that is always going to be very important. You got to do your down and up. And if you forgot, if you're not going to do anything by doing it again, just to make sure. All right, now we're going to go into the threading process. I like to hold my thread kind of like I'm getting ready to floss my teeth to make sure everything's going in the right spots. So before we start flossing, we have these three little holes right here. We're gonna go from top to bottom in the far back one, and then around and down into the first one, just like so. So it's wrapping around, we're skipping the third hole. Now I'm gonna hold my thread kind of like I'm flossing the machine. It's gonna go in this thread guide first, right here. This has to be flush. If this looks like this inside, you start screwing this in, I'm gonna do it for purposes of the video. If it's like this, this is incorrect. This tension dial right here needs to be nice and flush with the metal part. So do not touch this guy. Touch it only if it's more in or more out. It has to be nice and flush like that, all right? So into this thread guide right here, this tension guide. Tension guide number 2 is in here, okay? And this one's nice and tight. This is where you adjust your tension if something is loose. Right now we have it at 1, but if I need to adjust it, I can go back. To get the most accurate reading for this tension dial, you have to make sure your presser foot is down. If it is up, you saw how that opened? This makes it look like it's almost at 2 now. When I put it down, that gives me my accurate reading of the tension, all right? Next up.
Redo that tension piece right there, because I may have got it out of there. No, just like
put it around?
It.
Yeah, let me show you guys. All right, so let me hold it
all
nice
you
and
do
tight.
is
From down into this arm. It has to hook into here. You have to see it move like this. Next, we're going underneath this little arm, snapping in, coming from the right to the left in here, snapping back in, okay? Thread guide number 1 is right here. And then this is the most commonly missed thread guide. It's going to be this little guy right here. It goes from the back to the front like so. This is the last step before threading it, so you have to make sure you are in this thread guide. If you don't have this for whatever reason, we do offer it on Juki Junkie, so you guys can check out, but this is the last thread guide and you can't miss that, all right? Next up, I'm gonna thread it. I'm gonna pull down my needle threader. If you look here, I'm going from the back to the front, and it's getting tucked in right into that little spot, all right? Then it's gonna sit right here in that little white opening, and as I'm lifting up, I'm gonna slowly release the thread from my left hand, because that's the motion. If you release it, it's pulling it the other way. If you are keeping it tight, you're going against the thread guide. So now that I have a loop, I'm just gonna pull this out, lift my presser foot back up, tuck this right underneath, So you don't have a super long tail. You guys do have a thread cutter right to the left side right here. All right, I'm gonna just come back to front and trim that. While we're right here, let me show you guys this little window. This little window right here is your presser foot pressure. So this is not something to be, you know, just turning willy-nilly. If you're just using 2 layers, 4 layers, even 6 layers of cotton, if you raise it up just a little bit, like right here, that is a happy tension. When you are doing free motion quilting, you will raise this blue bar almost all the way to the tippy top, and the more down you go, the more pressure the bar is opening, it's getting greater, you're applying more pressure. So the only time you would ever put this down is if you are working with really fine, like lace or organza or something like that. But I hope this was a nice little thorough video for you guys on threading. It's very simple. You'll get much faster with more practice, but just wanted to go over some of those dials and the most important parts to the threading.
You want to do one more quick thread from like here, but just do it fast.
Faster? Sure.
Just on video.
Just a little bit
one more
flow?
time. Yeah.
Sure. I can
Just to do everything twice.
Sure. Let's just start
And
from
just,
all the way to
yeah,
the
just
tippy
start
top.
from right here.
Perfect.
From the top. So
Just a quick one.
top to bottom. Go around this disc from the top back down around to the right. Then from the right to the left, all the way to the right, go over that little spring, under that guide, through that guide, on that hook, back to the guide, and that little guide.
Put my presser foot down so it's out the way. Last guide right here. I'm gonna do my needle down, needle up before I thread it.
And you can always do the needle down, needle up right before you thread it like she just did.
As long as you just remember to do it.
You don't have to do it at the beginning, but it's just something you gotta remember. So now it's good to go. Very easy, very quick, very simple. Thank you for watching.